Honorable Minister, you and your delegation, introduce yourself to the committee. Pull it down. No, pull it down.
My name is Sylvia Amoro. I am the Director Finance of the Ministry of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Alexander Yao Afo, Chief Director, Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Samuel Nate George, Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram and Minister of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, and a former member of the Public Accounts Committee. A member in good standing, 8 years solid member of the committee.
That's right.
As we speak, you are not a member. We are not accepting you as a former member either.
Okay. Honorable Abner Siyasar will handle Ministry of Communications.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Did you say Honorable Abina is going to handle our question?
Yes, please.
The way she has charged and hitted and is even disowning me as a member of the committee, then you are leading me into her hands. Chairman, this one, you are feeding your brother to the lioness.
Thank you. Minister, I'm sure you've seen the reports, and you know my worry is the huge amount that you have to justify before payment. A total of 1.79 billion was submitted, and the ministry was able to validate just 821 million. The auditors are asking that you validate 708 million of the amount you submitted. I am worried that you send amounts dating of 1.7 billion, and it's just 800 of that you are able to validate. Please help us here.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I am more worried than you are, because this is public funds, and if the Honorable Finance Minister had not instituted this audit, and it was just a matter of paying requests that were sitting, we may have gone down a certain route. Of the 1,792,950,003 Ghana cedis that was submitted, we were able to validate 821,718,350 Ghana cedis. 263,078,152 was rejected.
Minister, I'll come to the rejection, but okay. My worry now is the huge amount of 708 million that you need to verify, justify.
I'm just coming to that.
That's for me, 708. I'll come to the rejection later.
The 708,153,501 Ghana cedis happens to be just one project. Yes, one. It's just one project.
One.
Yes, and that's why.
Yes.
Chair, so I said I am deeply worried.
Yeah, I am too.
It has to do with the intention of the ministry dating back to about 2020, 2021 to construct a cybersecurity building and procure cybersecurity software. Chair, the reason I'm worried, or I said I'm worried, is when I took over the ministry, it was one of the first things I tried to look into. Because from my office, when I look out the window, I see the intended site for that building. Now, we had a claim that was made of 708 million Ghana cedi. However, already the government of Ghana has paid 14,336,738 US dollars. 14,336,738 $738 million US dollars 50 cents. All the ministry has to show for that, Madam Chair, is the foundation of a building. That is all the ministry has to show for that amount of money that has been
So
paid.
the 708 million Ghana cedis, what was
Is
it for?
additional request
Additional
the
request.
ministry had made to finance to pay.
But this is a
And-
capital project.
Yes, please.
And for capital projects, you only pay what or the investment you have made into it.
IPCs
Such
need to
that
be
if it's a
generated.
project, you pay, you raise a certificate to the tune of that the quantum of
Yes.
the work done
Yes.
before you are paid. So how come we are asking government to cough 708 million Ghana cedis for a capital project that hasn't been completed to the tune of 708 million Ghana
So,
cedis?
further
Yeah.
breakdown. The project was comprised of software and the building. Now, for the software, we had paid $10,930,069 million US dollars 20 cents. $10.93 million US dollars to an Israeli company called Rayzone Limited. And then $3,406,669 million US dollars for the construction to Mendana and Susa. $3,406,669 million 30 cents US dollars had been paid to Mrs. Mendana and Susa for the civil works construction. So it means that the foundation we see there, we had paid 3.4 million US dollars just for the foundation. And then there had been additional requests to the finance ministry that came to about another 383 million Ghana cedi, 383,966,90 million Ghana cedis, again on the building. Now, for the software, the ministry has not received any work or anything for the $10.9 million that had been paid, and there was an additional request of 324 million Ghana cedis still on the software. Because, Madam Chair, what I'm explaining to you here is we've paid, the taxpayer has paid $14.3 million. 10.9 for the development of the cybersecurity software, 3.4 million for the construction of the building itself. That's been paid. So that's not part of this audit.
Yes.
Now, this audit
Yes.
is because there were additional requests from my predecessor at the ministry to finance for an additional 324 million Ghana cedis to be paid on the software, and then 383 million Ghana cedis to be paid on the building. That is the outstanding 708 million that you see the audit flagging that we need to justify.
Minister, I want to get something clear.
Sure.
The software of 10.93 million,
Yes.
we don't have any evidence of the company providing it to the ministry, even though 10.93 million had been paid to the company.
I met with the company. I summoned
Yes.
the company from Israel when I became minister.
Okay.
And demanded to see work that had been done. They said they had done a baseline study and that they were waiting for additional payment before they go into the development phase.
Minister, do you have a copy of their contracts? And what does the contract say in respect of payments to this? And Minister, those who facilitated the payments to that tune, what did they see to warrant that amount of payment? What invoices, what actuals did they receive or were they given to enable them push 10.93 million to the company?
Madam Chair,
This evidence should be at the ministry clearly if these amounts have been paid.
Madam Chair, getting the documentation has been like treading a needle. My chief director who sits here was director of finance at the time. A lot of the documentation ended up only at the minister's office, didn't even go down to the chief director's office. The Cybersecurity Authority has absolutely no documentation whatsoever. We've managed to pool a number of documents which we can make available to this committee. But, Madam Chair, to answer the specific question of what was seen before the 10.9 was paid, I would have said you and I were not there. I wasn't there, but you were there. You were the finance ministry. But it may not have come to you directly. But this was paid.
Did the audit say that this payment came from the finance ministry?
Yes, it was paid from finance.
No. In this, did they say
no,
the payment came from the finance ministry?
This audit did not deal with the 10.9 that has been paid already.
So, but Minister, I mean, let's be devoid of politics and everything. This is a very serious issue.
Sure.
And I want to get to the bottom of it.
Sure.
I was at the Ministry of Finance. This pertains to Ministry of what? Communication. So
yes.
let's speak to that. Devoid of politics, devoid of all the things that we want the TikTokers to carry around.
Oh.
But this is a very serious issue. 10.93 million for no work done, no evidence, as you are saying. It's serious. So, Minister, let's get to the bottom of this.
Madam Chair.
And then the 708 million.
I am getting to the bottom
Yes.
of it. And this is not, I told you, this is one of the things that has left me very worried. And I've referred it to the Attorney General.
I was worried myself when I saw 708 million
because
meant for validation out of 1.7 million that came to
Madam
Ministry
Chair,
of Finance.
you know that there is, because of your previous role, you know that there is no minister who can make payments on behalf of the government of Ghana without it coming through the Ministry of Finance. As Minister for Communication today, any payment I need to make, I send it to Finance. Finance validates it, approves it, and sends it to the Controller General, who makes the payment on behalf of the ministry against my ministry's votes. And so that's why I'm saying that this 10.9 could not have been paid from any other source except through the Ministry of Finance,
yes,
which was done.
No, that is what everybody comes to say here. But I'm saying that definitely it's initiated from the Ministry of Communications. And that is why I am asking, there should be some level of evidence for Ministry of Communications to initiate these amounts from their ministry to the Ministry of Finance.
Madam Chair.
We work with the GIFMIS. And with these things, you need to attach documents. Finance Director, do you just get up and bring letters to Ministry of Finance to pay? Definitely, you would come with supporting documents. You heard the Ministry of Sports just leave here. And they had to confess that for one reason or the other, they were waiting for evidence that did not come. And then straight away, they sent it to Ministry of Finance. And the auditors flagged it. So I'm asking, there was no evidence of work done. There was nothing. And then this was pushed through for Ministry of Finance to pay. Then we all have a big problem in this country. We all have a big problem in this country. If this is how the payments were effected, we all have a big problem in this country. Finance Director, tell me something.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair and Chairman, for the opportunity. As you rightly said, Finance will not pay anything without it passing through the user ministry. And so a letter comes to the ministry, and then we would process it through the GIFMIX. And so that is exactly what it is. So as at
so on what basis was this process through the GIFMIS? It is worrying. It is very worrying that there's no evidence of work done, and the minister is saying 10.93 million was paid for the software and civil works to the tune of 3.4 million, and now the auditors are saying that you have come up with a request of 708 million. I was of the view that usually with capital expenditure, you pay for work done. So for the ministry to push through 708 million Ghana cedis when work hadn't been done, I also have a problem with that one. And maybe that is why the auditors flagged it and said they needed justification before we pushed this.
Madam Chair, so that
Yes, Minister.
we put this in clear perspective. There are two separate issues that are before the committee here. The 780 million Ghana cedis, which has been flagged, 708 million Ghana cedis, which has been flagged by the auditors, which are requests for payments that were made from the Ministry of Communication in 2022 to the Ministry of Finance, were not paid in 2022, were not paid in 2023, were not paid in 2024. And when Honorable Atuforsen took over in 2025 and caused the special audit to be done, flagged it again and said, we are not seeing the required documentation to support that payment. That is one issue. The other issue is what has already been paid, which was paid in 2021. Part of those payments were done as under the consideration of advanced mobilization. But we all know that advanced mobilization should not exceed 15% of the contract volume. And so when you have, Madam Chair, if you please let me, if you have a contract where the whole contract sum, both building and software, is about $50 million. About 50 million, was in the region of about 50 million for the entire project. And already you are having 14.350 for the two, yes.
For the two projects.
For the two, for
okay.
both software
and hardware.
And hardware.
Yes.
I'll get you the full exact amount. But for example, I have a letter here which was dated 11th of August 2022 from the Ministry of Communication, 11th August 2022 from the Ministry of Communication to the Honorable Minister for Finance. Heading, payment request, technical operationalization. Sorry, there's somebody who thinks they own my phone. They keep calling repeatedly.
Minister, I understand that. So 1 minute, let me just.
Okay.
Now you are saying that the software of 10.93 million and then the civil works, it was because advanced mobilization was paid. But even that one, it was breached. So, I mean, yeah,
that's why I'm reading this letter, because that payment.
Because 15% should be about 7.5 million and not the 14 million that has been paid.
Madam Chair.
So even that one,
yes,
there's been a breach.
And that's why I'm saying that payment was done. And there was even a follow-up letter. The follow-up letter is what I'm referencing, 11th of August 2022. The letter is headlined, Payment Request, Technical Operationalization of the Cybersecurity Authority. The Ministry of Communication and Digitalization forwards here with a letter received from the Cybersecurity Authority with accompanying invoices from Ray Zone Group Limited and Mendana and Souza, the contractors for the technical operationalization of the Cybersecurity Authority. The breakdown of payments made so far is as follows. Then for Ray Zone, milestone, advance payment, amount requested, 13,590,000. So 13.59 million US dollars. Amount paid, that's the 10.93 that we've paid. Amount outstanding, 4.837. Then for the next milestone, PDR, 9.06 million US dollars, which had not been paid. So this request, software alone.
All this software.
All of software. So there was a request on the 11th of August 2022 for 13.897 million US dollars to be paid on the software. Now on the civil works, advance payment was 4.023 million, 4,023,000 on the civil works. Amount paid was 3.406 million. So there was an outstanding.
Minister, the 708 million.
Yes.
Does it come from the 50 million US dollars?
Yes.
It comes from the 50 million
Yes.
US dollars.
That was supposed so that was supposed to be the outstanding payments left on this project.
So Okay, in dollar terms, it is 50 minus the 14 million.
It should be.
So that's 36 million outstanding. And then when you translate 36 million into dollars into cedis, what do you get at that rate? Is that the 708?
Madam Chair, I would get us to, we have a soft copy of a docket on all the documentation that we've been able to retrieve from the confidential registry at the Minister's Secretariat. It doesn't give you all the documentation because when you follow the sequence, you realize that there are gaps here and there. But at least it gives you a sense of where we are sitting, because I have here another document which was supposed to be, for example, we have the specific warrant that made those payments. But the question that, and why I said I am worried, is that if we've paid $3.4 million US dollars on civil works, and the entire project civil works was supposed to be in the region of, it was, the whole civil works was actually less than 14 million.
So, the civil works is less than the actual cost of the software.
Yes, please. The civil works was a small component
because you said
of the amount.
The total is 50 million US dollars.
Yes. So the software, and like I said, we will get you the full contract sums. But clearly, for $3.4 million, the Ministry of Communication should have more than a foundation. And there should be no request for additional payments until we had gotten the value of what we had paid. As well, when it comes to the software, for 10.9 million US dollars, we should not have only had a baseline study, because when I met with the contractor, Rayzone, from Israel, when I asked what they have for the ministry with the monies we have paid, they said to me that they have conducted a baseline study. I demanded that that baseline study should be submitted to me for my study. They said they had outstanding payments which needed to be made before they could even release the baseline study. And that is the outstanding payments which you see reflected.
Minister,
yes.
With this, clearly we'll have to refer this matter to the Attorney General for us to look at the milestones in there. Whether what warranted the payment of 10.93 million. Maybe I don't know if
Madam Chair, I have written to the Attorney General because
yes.
As far as I'm concerned, yes. This is a matter that must be investigated for us to ascertain and possibly even recover monies that are due to the state for work money that was paid for work that has not been done.
Maybe they defined the baseline in the contracts. But then, what does the baseline include? Does it involve Ghana giving away 10.93 million for what work done?
And Madam Chair, you would agree with me that even if the contract warranted us paying in total 14 million, which is what they are claiming for the baseline study, that in itself, the fact that was signed in a contract does not make it legal. Because our legal regime says you cannot pay more than 15% to anybody for mobilization.
Advanced mobilization,
and this is classified as advance payment in the letter I have read.
The advance payments per the contract should be 7.5 million.
Absolutely.
Clearly, I mean,
absolutely.
And
that should be for both the civil works and the software.
Yes.
But here you are seeing software alone taking in excess of the 15%. And that's why I'm saying that even as a minister, I err and sign a contract that breaches the PFM, the Ministry of Finance ought not to have honored that request on the mere fact that advance payment should not exceed 15% of the value. And so I'll be grateful if this committee also calls upon the Attorney General to expedite and constitute a thorough investigation, because I believe that, and I made a point clear to them, this contract was signed sometime in 2021. The technology they were offering the government of Ghana is obsolete today when it comes to cybersecurity. And when I asked for a review, they said it will come with additional cost. And so I have indicated that as a ministry, we are not willing to proceed with this.
Then the 708 million would not stand in the books.
Absolutely
the auditors
not.
Would have to reject it outright.
Outright. Because we
Yes.
don't intend to justify it because there is no justification for it.
You will have to reject it.
Yes.
Auditors, you have to include it in the 263 million rejected
Rejections.
amount, because clearly, from what the minister is telling us, there is no way they can justify the 708 million Ghana cedis in there. Moreover, it's a capital expenditure. And with capital expenditure, you only pay what has been executed. And pay the certificates. So if clearly, one, there's no certificate to that tune, two, they can't justify, there's nothing to show for the payment, this cannot stand in the books. And I mean, in as much as Ministry of Finance presented this, Ministry of Communication should not also have presented the amount in the first place.
I agree, 100%, Madam Chair. Because
this should not have even gone to Ministry of Finance in the first place, because there's no justification for it. Nothing to show, no work done. But the issue at stake is beyond this. It is very serious. And we as citizens and we as members of this committee will also have to probe further to establish what exactly is the situation. Because even if it's advanced mobilization payment, it's 15%, and 15% of 50 million cannot be $14 million. And so we will have to look into this and take it from here and see how best we can resolve this situation. If we will have to call on the contractors, based on the outcome of the investigations, for us to be reimbursed with some monies, so be it. But then we will have to go through this situation, go through this information that you have given to us thoroughly, and we on our own as a committee cannot do that. But we will have to refer it to the Attorney General to take it up from here and see how best we can resolve this situation as soon as possible. $14 million is no, chicken, change. Yes, it is huge.
And Madam Chair, I'm grateful if this committee would do that referral, because from the documents we see, you realize that the companies applied for 30% as advanced mobilization, and that's what the ministry sent to finance. And like you rightly pointed out, the fact that a contractor has requested for 30%, the minister responsible for communication ought to know what the PFM dictates and not even bring that request to finance. And when it gets to finance, finance ought to have rejected it as well. And so it appears that there were lapses at multiple layers, but I think that for work that has been done that we have seen, and the amount of money we have paid, the Ghanaian government is owed a refund of some level. It will be important that the Attorney General starts the processes for an audit to be done of the work that is claimed to have been done. Let us do an assessment of it, value that, and see if the work that has been done matches the 14 points that has been paid, fine.
Certainly.
If not, the contractors, Rayzone Limited, Rayzone Company Limited, and Mendana and Souza must be made to refund money back to the exchequer.
So we will refer it to the Attorney General and all the relevant agencies that the Attorney General will need to support his office come up with the relevant reports to enable us to take it up from there. And so that is what we will do. And then there was also an amount rejected of 200 and, you want to, someone else.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Madam Chair, Minister, I think the last portion of your answer is a bit striking, and I believe that is where we probably may have to take it from, rather than being tentative with some of the conclusive comments I would want to make. Because now we would want to say that we would have to do a proper assessment of work done. And I'm doing that, just opposing that with the letter that you read, which the letter indicated some milestones. And the milestones came with some valuations to the milestones and some payment made against that. One was about 13 million for one milestone and 10 million was paid. And one was about 9 million and some amount was paid. And for the civil works, the milestone required 4.03 million and 3.4 was made. So it tells you that there were some indications that required certain payments. And per the letter, maybe there's another letter. I'm trying to make a point based on the letter you read and the milestones. And I'm just opposing that with the report in front of us. The auditors, per the amount of monies that were given to them, validated some. And said for others where they could not validate, there ought to be some documentations, and they made recommendations as to weak documentations and lack of proper records and development of contract and a payment monitoring system. Because for commitments, 461 million, and they validated 129. It means there were some documentations given to them, and they found it necessary in some of them to make that. And for the other one was 1.2 billion, in which they made a validation of about 600 million. So based on that, there were some documentations upon which they needed further. Because if you look at the report, there were portions that they outrightly rejected. And there were portions that they said that it needs to be verified for payments to be made. So I believe that in order for us to make conclusive, we must therefore be assessing the work, the contract, and whatever. Advanced mobilization and whatever requests, those are differential matters, because I believe that those ones would also have been raised by the auditors. But we must be looking at the milestones per the letter from the cybersecurity that was read. At least we have to get a copy of that to know which milestones they were talking about and why those demands were made and certain payments made against those demands.
Chair, if I can come in, the auditors have not validated any payment on the cybersecurity building, please. The $14.3 million that was paid was not up for audit.
No, the reason why I'm saying,
if you can let
with
me.
respect, the money is not a stand-alone money. The 708 is not a stand-alone money. Based on the report that we have, it is portions of commitments in one angle and claims in another angle. The commitment were 461 million. And the amount validated in the commitment was 129 million. And in the claims was 1.2 million. And the amount validated in the claims was 614 million.
Chair, you are confusing the issues.
No.
The amount, Chair, no. You see, you should allow us to.
Have you seen the copy of the?
Chair,
that is why I'm
Chair,
saying that we must also take our time.
Report. No, there is nowhere in the report you are reading where it says that the 129 million that was validated referenced the cybersecurity building.
But
the ministry had.
But you see, in this report,
the ministry had
with
other.
respect, you see, that is why I'm reading from the report.
No, Chair, but I'm asking you. Let's not mislead ourselves and confuse ourselves.
No, wait.
If you would let me.
That is why we would want clarity on it. That is why I'm saying I am reading from the report.
And what you are reading wrong. So allow me to correct you.
No. If you say that one, I would disagree. Wait.
Do you see in the report that the validated commitments refer to the cybersecurity building?
But there is nothing that the
and that is why I am saying to you
don't
that
say I'm reading wrong.
We did the validation.
So don't
you
say
didn't do
I am
it.
reading wrong. I am only telling you that based on the report here.
If they validated Digital Youth Village, which is a completely different project, and that has been validated, how do you want to equate that to saying that they validated
is not an
parts
equation. We are talking
of the
about
cybersecurity?
We are talking about monies that they put into this. And that is why I said there are portions of all the monies that they've put in here that they've totally rejected.
Everything that is in our audit relevant to cybersecurity building has been rejected. Don't befuddle the issues.
No, it has not been rejected.
It has.
It is based on validation. Because you said the 708 is related to the cybersecurity. And that one has not been rejected. They said that amount to be justified before payment. That is not rejection. But when you come, they have amount rejected, 263. So let us take our time.
The amount that is rejected is because the ministry has confirmed to the auditors that there is no payment to be made whatsoever.
So they are different.
So you cannot compare apples and oranges and seek
but
to
you
equate.
said the 708.
Honorable, if you ask a question and you won't allow us to answer,
I have given you the opportunity.
You would engage in a monologue. Allow us to answer.
You said the 708 is in respect of one project.
Honorable,
right.
Ask your question and I'll answer. I won't engage in a banter with you.
You said the
respectfully.
708 is in respect of one particular project. And that has not been rejected. They said there ought to be validation before payment. And that is why I'm saying that we must be not so much conclusive about that. Where the rejections have been made, it has been stated clearly. And per the letter you read that there were milestones and the rest. And I'm saying that for us to be able to do that, let us all take our time and do those compositions of the milestones and wherever we've got into before those conclusions can be made. Because you also even said that we needed to therefore call them and therefore they should produce that one and even do evaluation. They said they will not do and that we are going to cancel that one. But I'm saying that we are only looking at what has been written here and the two figures. That is all that I'm saying.
Okay.
So it is not that anybody is reading wrong. And that one, I respectfully would want you to know that I'm not reading wrong. I'm only reading the document in front of me.
Okay, honorable member.
Chair, if I could clarify, because you see, again, I maintain that the honorable member has misread the entire presentation.
No, I have not. No, you see, let us not
Chair,
go there.
If people are appearing before your committee are not allowed to respond, but you've gone on a monologue.
You
Allow
don't
me to
respond by
respond,
saying I've misread it.
Okay.
The document in front of me in page 162 states 3 categorizations: commitment, claims, and arrears. No, Sam, no, that is not the angle we must go. And under commitment 461, parts of it has been justified. The others are waiting for justification. That is what is in it. The second one is claims. Part of it have been justified. Others have been rejected. Others are waiting for validation. And for even arrears, 77 million, all the 77 million except 10,000 has been rejected. So you can't say that I'm reading that wrong.
Okay.
That is the document we have in front of us.
Honorable member, let's hear what he's saying, and then we'll conclude. Because when it comes to rejections, auditors will do that.
I'm yet to even go to the rejections. So,
Chairman, I am grateful.
Thank you.
We presented, in fact, we appeared before the auditors because the auditors had a number of requests that were before them that they needed to validate. Now, they were all not about one project. You had the Digital Youth Village, you had rural telephony, you had the regional innovation centers, you had Microsoft licenses. A number of issues were presented that came to the umbrella figure of 1,792,000,000. What I said here was everything relative to the cybersecurity building totaled 708 million.
Okay.
And on that building, nothing was validated. And the auditors, we said to the auditors, we don't have documents to support the claims that have been presented. And that's why it is tagged amounts to be justified before payment.
Yeah.
It does not mean that some portions of the payment were validated based on milestones. And that's why I said that impression being created is erroneous and we need to clarify it. So on the 708 million, it is everything related to the cybersecurity building. When it comes to things like the Digital Youth Village.
And the software.
Yes. So the cybersecurity building is seen as one, both software and building. It's seen as one contract, and I think the civil is like a sub of the main contract. So when it comes to things like Digital Youth Village, we presented all the IPCs, the work was inspected, validated, and that's how come it was cleared. And that's how come you have those ones validated for payment.
Okay.
When it comes to rejected, and because Honorable Abena has not come into the rejected, I don't want to go into the details because I'm sure she may have questions to ask. But there were things that were raised for payments that we said to the auditors, on this one, there is no need to even debate anything. It ought not to be paid.
Okay.
So those ones were outrightly rejected because we said there is no need to even consider anything on this. This should not be paid. So those were outrightly rejected. Then for the ones that we had questions as a ministry on the validity of the request, the auditor said, provide documentation. We said, we don't have documentation. And that's the 708, and that's what we are saying should be investigated. Okay. Now, on the payment of 14.3 million, which is where I said we need to do an investigation, and that investigation will audit the amount of work that has been done. Chair, we as a ministry, before writing to the Attorney General, caused our own audit to be done of the work that is done. And that's why I referenced and said, for a foundation, you can't tell me that the foundation costs $3.4 million. Yeah. And so there ought to be some monies that will be refunded. And again, let us be clear, the last point I make, that all those payments came with a narration. The narrations were advance payments. And so there is no justification whatsoever you may want to give whether based on how the contract was structured or the milestones in the contract. The milestones in a contract cannot supersede our Public Financial Management Act. The law says don't pay more than 15% to anybody. You can't bring an advance mobilization payment to finance for 30%. That in itself is wrong. And that's what I'm saying, and that is what was done. The documents we have here, all the advance mobilizations were for 30%. And so I'm saying that per the law, the contractors need to refund the 15% in excess that was given to them. Then they justify the reason why for the next milestone, they must be paid those monies.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. Let's not befuddle the issues, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Honorable Minister, we've already said that we'll refer this one to the Attorney General. But finance guy, you were there at the time. And payments going to the ministry, were you aware of it?
Honorable, most of them I wasn't aware. At the time, I was Director, General Administration and Finance. So the finance aspect was handled by the finance unit of the ministry.
So you are now the Chief Director?
Yes, please.
At that time, you were Director of Finance?
No, Director, General Administration and Finance.
General Administration, okay.
At the time, we had one director for both General Administration and Finance. Now we have two different directors, but at that time, he was Director Finance and General Administration.
Okay, all right. We've already...
But you were handling both finance and general admin. So you can't tell me that these letters are sent without you seeing, because you are the boss of those two units.
Madam, those days you dare not. It moved from the minister's directorate straight to the chief director.
Okay, so I think, Madam, we've already...
There were issues about the rejected. If we could just clear those
Yes,
for you.
I'll come to the rejected.
Okay.
Honorable Minister, again, out of the 1.792 million, 2 billion, 263 million was also rejected outright. Can you give me an idea of what is entailed in the 263 million amount and why the auditors rejected that amount outright?
Madam Chair, we realized that a number of them were duplications. So take, for example, the Digital Youth Village. The consultancy services for the Digital Youth Village came to 1,440,000. It had been paid already under claims and then had been duplicated. It had been paid under commitments. It was in the claims and then in the BTA as well. It had been paid already in one, or it had been validated in one, so you couldn't have the same payment in claims and BTA, so one had to be taken out. The same thing happened with the consultancy services for the regional innovation centers, which was just 170,965. Again,
well, Minister, the things you are mentioning are small amounts.
I'm coming.
So you just mentioned the big ones because this is 263 million.
Madam Chair, I have my list. Mommy, if I change the formula, you'll be confused. Then the third one was the Microsoft license for Smart Workplace. That was 170,587,922. Now, the ministry contracts Microsoft on behalf of the country and buys a nationwide license for all of our institutions. The amount again is 170,587,922 Ghana cedi. And so when we do that, we contract on behalf of the state. However, that payment doesn't come out of our votes. It comes from Ministry of Finance. So it had been placed on our votes, but finance had paid already. So it had to be rejected off our books as well. Then in 2023, the ministry also bought set-top boxes. They bought about 350 set-top boxes, and there was some duties that had to be paid. demurrage and duties that had to be paid to the tune of 82,363,954 Ghana cedi. Madam Chair, I went to Cabinet and made a submission to Cabinet to have portions of the proceeds from the sale of 4G spectrum that we did in August last year to be allocated to offset that through the NCA. So that payment was made on the books of the NCA. And so we had to reject it off here so that we don't end up doing a double payment. So if you look at just those, and then there's exchange rate differences. The exchange rate differences relating to the cybersecurity building came to 8,504,584 Ghana cedi. So between the Microsoft license, the external payments, and so that covers the full scope of the rejections.
Okay. So thank you very much, Minister. I think per the reports from the auditors, we've had some answers that will need the help of the Attorney General to help us, one, validate those answers and also put things in the right perspective. And so we'll be happy to, as part of our recommendations, write to the Auditor General and bring this before the Auditor General. Minister, one other thing, which is not in the report, but we feel once you are here, we should ask you, is the poor quality of our networks. Minister, these days, it's very, very difficult to even make normal calls for 1-2 minutes consistently. So once you are here and we've had the opportunity to meet with you, I think we should bring this before you and then ask that you speak to the telcos, because it is getting bad, especially the biggest of them all, which you know. Thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you so much, and I share in the concern. In fact, the regulator carried out some work last year on the conditions, quality of service, and we engaged the telcos. This year in Q1, we issued a new policy directive on the standards that we use, the KPIs that we use to measure quality of service. And that was a policy initiative aimed at pushing the networks to invest in their network. Because, Madam Chair, the truth of the matter is we're all beginning to see the decline, because over the last decade, we have not seen a commensurate investment in the networks to match the switch in our phone culture. Over the last decade, a lot more people have moved from YAM phones to smartphones. A lot more people are now using data. Any country that wants to have resilient data must have fiber as its backbone, fiber to homes. So I'll use Parliament as an example. Parliament sits in the Osu catchment area. There are cell sites that service that entire area. Now imagine if we had reliable high-speed fiber, dedicated fiber to Parliament, the Parliament campus. It then means that at every point in time in Parliament, you have at least 500, between 500 and 1,000 active phones in the chamber, from MPs to parliamentary staff to visitors. Now, if all of those people use the network in the area, what it does is it clogs the network, and then even people in the surrounding areas will see a decline in their quality of service. But if Parliament had dedicated fiber and everyone in Parliament was connected to the Wi-Fi, it means that you have freed up spectrum capabilities in the Osu enclave. They will have a good quality of service. And that's why we are saying that every major building must now have fiber, so that when people are there, they move off the mobile service, because actually it is a mobile service. So it's supposed to be for people in motion. Those who are in a particular location should be connected to Wi-Fi. Now, in doing that, what we've done is we have changed the KPIs, like I said. At first, the companies, the MNOs will pass with a 3% call fail rate. we've dropped it to 1%. Now, what that has done is it has spared them to now invest in their networks. So, and I can share with you, for the purpose of this committee and because we are live on TV, what the antecedent has been. And I'll use MTN. They're the biggest network. In 2016, to deal with increasing growth in the market, MTN rolled out 134 new sites. And when we say sites, those are like what gives the connectivity, 134. In 2017, it went up to 352. In 2018, 300. In 2019, 352. In 2020, 200. 2021, 120. 2022, 343. 2023, 350. 2024, 30. 2025, which was last year, they did only 50 sites. With our directive this year, they are doing 800 new sites.
So, with all this that is going on, you ask MTN, the infrastructure that they claim they are building, the monies that they get from users, is it commensurate with the infrastructure that they are building? Absolutely no.
Madam Chair.
Minister, absolutely no.
Madam Chair.
I understand that, but you see, for them to sit and enjoy the increase in users, and then wait and wait and wait over a period of time before the minister says, add on this, add on that. All these monies that they were enjoying,
Madam Chair,
couldn't they have on their own increased these user sites that you are talking about? This is not good enough, Minister. We expect something to be done, and we expect it to be done sooner than, they are talking about, because now it is really, really bad.
Madam Chair.
In my constituency, Minister, it's like you just cannot make an MTN call.
Madam Chair, we are dealing with a decade of rot and lack of action, and it will not be fixed. Madam Chair, if you will,
no,
it
Minister,
won't be fixed
just listen
in
to me.
6 months. I've heard
a decade of whatever it is, were they not being paid for the increase in users?
They were, but there was someone who was also being paid to make policy decisions. It's a policy decision I have taken.
But as a private company on your own,
they are driven by profit.
At the quantum of monies that are coming in, and you don't even think that let me also improve my services to be, so that the users, the huge influx of users that are coming in, can at least enjoy not anything exceptional, but basic services.
Madam Chair, I do not stand here to defend any of the telcos. However, the role in which I sit here to serve the Ghanaian people. Whoever sits as MD of MTN is thinking of his shareholding and his profit margins. And as every private business, not just MTN, Telisa, every private business will look at what they need to do to maximize profit within the legal regime.
But you maximize
For me,
profit,
what
Minister,
I have, and Madam Chair, the point I am making is that
commensurate with service.
And that is why you have a regulator. Regulators have a role to protect the customer by taking policy decision. You had a decade where there was poor leadership. Over the decade, the average number of cell sites per year was 223 sites.
Minister,
and I'm saying to you that in this year alone,
and put blame on policymakers or whoever it is. They themselves, as a company, also ought to do. Yes, I'm saying it is neither here nor there, Minister. But all we are asking now is whatever has happened has happened.
Madam Chair, when you ask
moving
the
forward,
question,
Minister, please, moving forward, we want something done. We want some actions taken, and the actions should be taken quicker than what they have told you.
Madam Chair,
Minister, that's all we are saying.
Madam Chair, but you need to listen to me.
I understand what you are saying.
Engineering is not sentiment.
Minister,
Engineering
it is not
sentiment.
about sentiment. It is about
giving a policy
in business. You look at the monies that are coming to you, and you ought to direct the services, the services that you are also giving. So that's all I'm saying. Minister, this is not monologue, no.
You've made
Ghanaians
your point. Can you listen to me?
Sick and tired of the poor quality services that we are experiencing. And that's all we are saying, Minister. That is all we are saying. Maybe you think it is sentiment. It is not sentiment. It is the people of Ghana, the people in the Tiwa East who are complaining. We cannot even make calls, and it's serious. So that's all I'm saying, Minister. All I'm saying is that whatever it is that you have put in place, let them expedite action, because they are making so much in profits. When you look at their financial statements, you look at the profits coming from the Ghana company alone. It is so much money compared to what is coming from the other countries. And so we expect some level of services that will help all of us. And that is all I'm saying, Minister. Thank you very much.
Now, Chair.
Yes.
The point I'm simply making is that I won't sit here to justify anybody. But private businesses are about making profits. And those profits, they paid to you over 8 years at the Finance Ministry as corporate taxes. Policy decision and policy leadership ought to make sure that we took steps to protect the customer. And I'm saying that we, under this reset agenda and under a responsible government, have done so.
Minister,
800.
we beg you.
No, Honorable,
Minister,
I'm also a
we
member of
beg
Parliament. Don't do this.
Minister,
You don't have.
we
You
beg
don't.
you.
Please, I am on the floor,
Minister,
Honorable.
I understand.
Let
I'm
me
saying we
make
beg
my
you.
point. No,
We
you
beg you.
won't heckle me. Don't
I'm
play
not hecking
sentiment.
you, but we beg
Chairman,
you. Just go
until
straight
and
to the point.
unless policy
And please,
decision is making,
we are tired of this
Honorable, you need to
politics,
rein
politics,
in the
politics.
Honorable member. She's
Yes.
being unruly.
No.
You are being
Minister,
unruly, please. This
Minister,
is
you
unbecoming
don't
of a
have the
member of
floor.
Parliament. Please, stop
Minister,
doing this.
listen, you don't have the floor.
No,
You
I
are
have
attending
the
upon us.
floor. No,
So
you have asked me a
respectfully,
question. I have the
Minister,
floor. You will let me
Minister,
answer the question.
Minister,
No,
just hold
no,
on.
you will let
This
me
is our
answer the
committee.
question. No, you won't do that, Abina. You won't do that today. Let me finish.
Minister, respectfully.
Let me
This
finish.
is our committee.
No,
You don't
have
tell
not
us what
brought-
you want to
no,
do.
But you've not brought me here to talk
Minister,
down on me as well.
Nobody is doing that
So
to you.
I listen to you.
Minister,
go on. You will
nobody is
listen
doing
to
that
me as well.
Respectfully.
We have
respectfully,
asked
can you
them
turn
to
off
roll
your mic?
out. We have
Minister,
asked them.
respectfully, can you turn
The
off your
chair
mic?
gave me the floor, please.
Minister. Minister.
Honorable,
Respectfully,
don't do this.
This is our
Don't do
committee. Minister, respectfully, I
So
understand.
if it's your committee, then don't invite us. But if you invite
Minister,
us, and
it
you
is
ask
the
us
law.
a question.
Minister,
so if you ask us a
respectfully.
question, you listen to us as well.
Minister,
it's not a monologue.
respectfully.
So respectfully, let me land.
We will let you land.
did
Just a
800
minute.
sites.
Minister, respectfully, we will let you land.
It's the same
Minister,
things you
we are
said.
not coming to repeat anything. Respectfully, we will let you land. Please. Minister, we understand you are in an important position. We understand the sensitive role that you play. When you come here and we address issues, it is not that we want to talk anybody down. Never. You and I, we go beyond this. We go beyond this. It is not that we want to talk anybody down. But Minister, the situation is serious. And that is all the sentiments I'm trying to carry across.
And that's the point I'm making. That serious situations require serious actions. We didn't see that for 10 years. And I'm saying to you that we've given a policy direction in January. On the back of our policy direction, MTN is rolling out 800 new sites. Telecel is rolling out 350 new sites. Between those two companies, you see 1,150 new sites. However, that's why I said to you that this is engineering and not sentiment. When you ask an MNO to roll out a new site, there are steps that have to be taken. First and foremost, you need to do the acquisition of the site. Then you need to then make the requisition for the radio equipment and the cell sites. Those are not things that are, for want of a better phrase, in a supermarket that you just go and buy. You place an order with an OEM. The regulator, the NCA, is going through this process. Most of the MNOs are receiving their BTA devices between July and August. So yes, we have made the request. We have asked them to take the steps. They have taken the steps. But it takes time for the equipment to arrive in the country. And when the equipment arrives and they roll out the improvement, you would see the improvement in the network. But we cannot sit here. After 10 years of failing to take action, someone is taking action, and then you say that you want to see it as quickly as possible.
How many of the sites are they building this year?
This year, MTN is doing 800 new sites.
Okay, so
Telecel is doing 350 new sites.
Okay.
So we're looking at 1,150 new sites this year. And I'm saying to you that over the last 10 years, from 2016,
yes,
the average has been 223 sites per year. And so if this year we are doing 1,150, we are doing a 500% increase to try and cover. And that's why I'm saying that, yes, we all go through the challenge. But I'm saying to you that you cannot will some of these things into being with a snap of a finger. It takes time. And so I'm saying that we gave that order in the first quarter of this year.
Minister.
It will take about 3 to 6 months. I am confident that by the end of Q3 going into Q4, we would see a remarkable office. The chief director always signed most of those letters. But now I sign, but it's prepared by them, brought to me, and I sign. So it's not the normal practice that things will leave the minister's office straight to another ministry without going through the requisite administrative process.
So the shadow officers at the finance ministry, why they can't scrutinize this and then do the needful also?
Chair, unfortunately, I don't work at the finance ministry.
Okay,
I
so
can't-
on this note, you have seen what is happening in your ministry. You need to put measures in place, and I hope this your 1 million coder project also chop no come inside. And that's my advice to you.
Oh, Chair, the 1 million coders program is the flagship program of the president. There is no way there'll be chop. I've seen some things flying on social media, but Chair, those are requests that we have made. And what they are flying around and saying are scandals on 1 million coders are a request for commitment authorization that was signed by the chief director in January this year. So when Parliament approved our budget, for all the line items that we have for this year, 1 million coders, our procurement plan, basically our procurement plan for the year, we did a full list of about almost 60 things, girls in ICT, and did one umbrella letter to the Ministry of Finance saying, this is our spending plan for the year. We are asking for commitment authorizations. That doesn't mean that the money has been released to us in full. And Chair, I'll give you just a typical example, because I've seen all the commentary that's going on. They say we are paying 2 million Ghana cedi as sensitization on SIM registration and CEIR. As we roll out a SIM registration process, Chair, it's important that we educate the public on what the process is going to be, true or false. For the whole country, the media budget for the whole country running a media campaign is 2 million Ghana cedis. How much does it cost to just run adverts for 3 months on Asasi, or to run it on Joy?
Find out and let us know.
Madam Chair, you run national programs, so you will know.
If didn't know, find out and let us know.
And so
on
if
this
we are
basis, you are
spending 2
discharged,
million
Minister.
for the
You
whole
can
period.
leave. You can leave. I'll take leave of us now.
Oh, now you are sacking me.
Yes, I'm sacking you.
You won't let me speak. After that, you sack me.
No. You can go now.
Okay, we are done now.
Chair, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for entertaining us and granting us audience. And we are grateful to you. We are hopeful that we can work with you and the AG's office to do a scrutiny of what is outstanding and what has to be done for our people. But I can assure the people of Etiwa East and the people of Ghana on the whole, that hopefully by end of Q3 going into Q4, we will see an improved network. But I just hope that the minister doesn't take out her frustrations on MTN or Telecel on me. I am her friend. I'm her brother. She shouldn't do that. Mabina, don't do that. It's not fine.
You guys will have to pay a fee to TikTok. You are discharged. Ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a break for 45 minutes.